This letter to Santa is from 2013. Dear Santa, I, Josiah, hope you brought me a four-wheel drive RC waterproof truck. I'd like it if I could have a ride on your reindeer. And how do you deal with slippery, icy roofs? Do you have grippers on your sleigh runners? And you have presents in your sleigh for so many kids. How does your sleigh not fall through the roof with all that weight? And have you ever seen a unicorn? And do you have an army of elves? Do you have a theme song? If so, what is it? Do you go to the beach? Can presents be on the naughty list? Can parents be on the naughty list? How do the reindeer stay young for so long? And you too, been around a long time and still spry. How? Marigold wants to give you some gifts, but she got sent to bed early, so we just left you eggnog, bread, carrots, and a drink. Happy trails and Merry Christmas. Love, my family. I guess I didn't say anything about this. There were so many things that he just typed it. Dear family, I always enjoy seeing the questions you come up with. Each year they get more intriguing. This year I'm short on time, so I had to borrow your computer to type out my answers to your questions instead of handwriting them like I usually do. The monkey and the stork I took in last year really got out of hand right before I left the North Pole. They were supposed to be helping Mrs. Claus with the baking, but they snuck off got to the elf headquarters. The stork flew in a window which shouldn't have been left open in the winter and flew off with a package of labels for presents. The monkey, well, he stole an elf hat and pants from the laundry and snuck out on the wrapping line. The two of them caused such a ruckus, wrapping and labeling the presents with no regard for who they were for, where they were going, or even which continent I was supposed to deliver them to. The head elf finally cornered them, tossed them in a box, and wrapped it up tight. He posted a guard on it, and I'll be dealing with them when I get back. Needless to say, they are on the naughty list. Harumph! But, on to your questions. Josiah, I've been working on a series of RC vehicles, but I've run into a snag with the assembly. Earlier this year, the monkey got into the hardware department and switched around the course and fine-threaded nuts. He even managed to slip in a few Whitworth ones. Why we ever kept those around, I'll never know. Anyway, that was why he was supposed to be baking with Mrs. Claus. So unfortunately, the RC vehicle line has been significantly backed up. You just can't keep a production line working efficiently when one-third of the elves are looking through magnifying glasses sorting out tiny nuts. Theoretically, I could give reindeer rides, but I'd have to make a special trip for that. As you know, my time is pretty tight, even in a year without monkey trouble. The reindeer don't like to fly much in the warm weather, but if you come visit me in the off-season, I'll see what I can do. Just don't bring any monkeys. Icy roofs are definitely problematic. The first year I landed on an icy roof, the sleigh slid right off, and if the reindeer hadn't been on the ball, I'd have ended up in the bushes in front of the house. As it turned out, they just took off again, circled the house, and hovered over the chimney. I jumped out of the sleigh straight into the chimney. On my way back up, I had to pop up extra high so the reindeer could pull the sleigh underneath me for a soft landing. It was a bit like being a human cannonball. The next year, I did indeed add retractable grippers to the runners of the sleigh. They work pretty well. My boots have grippers too, but they make my feet cold, so I have little electric heaters built into them now to keep my feet warm. When you're outside as much as I am, you have to keep the toes happy. The structural integrity of buildings has definitely gone down over the years. I used to land on roofs all the time without any trouble, but about 10 years ago I sat down on one and cracked 5 rafters. I had to get an emergency response team of construction elves out there on the double take to take care of that. It's hard enough trying to keep the reindeer and the sleigh quiet, but the construction elves, no way. Fortunately, the homeowners were out late visiting relatives that night, and my lead construction elf looks a lot like Norm Abram. Your mom knows who he is, so the neighbors thought they were doing a Christmas Eve special for this old house. What a hassle. I ended up getting around the problem by going to a super lightweight sleigh made of super plastics and carbon fiber nanotubes. We also made the runners on the sleigh extra wide and extra long. This lets the weight of the sleigh cover many more rafters. I haven't had any trouble since those upgrades. The other big help is that now most kids want compact electronic devices, and those don't weigh very much. They used to ask for ponies, bicycles, and go-karts. Thank goodness construction methods were more robust back then. Annabelle. Yes, I have seen unicorns, but not very often. They tend to be rather private, and they don't care for the smell of reindeer, but I know they're around. I do have a lot of elves working for me, but they're not really an army. It's tough to be very aggressive when your most dangerous weapon is an empty wrapping paper tube. You know, I never thought about a theme song. It seems like a good idea, but I'd only be able to play it coming and going from the North Pole. Everywhere else I'm supposed to be sneaky and quiet. People are supposed to know about me, but never really get more than passing glimpse or a faint jingle of bells. I went to the beach once, but it was kind of embarrassing. Big, fat, white guy with a giant bushy white beard. Everybody thought I was Paul Bunyan. Plus, I got a really bad sunburn and a coconut fell on my head. Now I just fly over the beaches on Christmas Eve and wave. As far as staying young and spry, well, that's kind of a trade secret, but I will give you a hint. Jellyfish. Tell Marigold I enjoyed the bread and the reindeer like the carrots. I'm glad she takes time to leave snacks for them too. Merry Christmas, Santa. That one was quite long.